Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're doing a nice little morning yoga flow with some power yoga moves to jumpstart your morning. So grab a mat and we will get started. Let's just come to a nice easy pose, and we are just going to go to the side with our head just to stretch out our neck. And we're going to go diagonal. And now forward. And we'll come up and we'll do that to the other side. So first side. And now take the head diagonally. And now come to the center. Making sure your shoulders are back. And come up. And we'll switch the feet. And we'll repeat that one more time. So to the side with the head. And now diagonal. And now to the center. And up. And other side. Nice straight back. And diagonal. And to the center. And come up. And we're just going to twist this out, so hand on your knee, looking over the shoulder, nice straight back. And let's take it to the other side. Good. Just make sure you're taking nice deep breaths. And let's just release slowly, and we'll switch out the feet. And we'll repeat this one more time. Nice straight back, looking over the shoulder, exhaling as you twist. And let's release to the other side. Really creating some mobility and flexibility in that spine in a very gentle way. All right, let's release, and we'll come and stretch that side body. So nice side stretch. I guess you found that a little bit too close of contact. And let's release. And we'll come to the other side. Nice line in your body. Try not to slouch or arch the back. You can look up, you can look down, whichever feels comfortable for you. Just keep those deep breathing breaths going. And we'll slowly bring it up, and we will switch the feet again, and we will do this one more time. So just stretch, nice big stretch to the side. And let's release and take it to the other side. And just hold deep breaths. And let's come up, and we'll switch the feet again. And this time we'll take our upper body down in this easy pose. Just stretching the hips, the lower back, the shoulders. And now let's bring our hands and our shoulders to one side. Good. Keep breathing. You're going to feel this more in your hip now. And let's take it to the other side. And just hold here. And let's come back to center. And let's just rock side to side, and we'll slowly come up at the same time. And we'll switch out our feet again. And we'll repeat that one more time. So going down in the center. And let's go to one side. Feel that stretch. Breathe into it. And let's take it to the other side. And now let's do that nice rock side to side while coming up. And we're just going to come to a nice straight back and roll our shoulders back. Good, nice and slow. And let's take it forward now. Nice, slow, big rolls in the shoulders, really warming them up. And now let's just release, and we're going to come to our Virasana Pose, our hero pose. Instead of sitting on the heels with the feet on the ground, we're going to flex our feet, flex our toes. And you can add a nice little stretch in the neck by looking down. So we're stretching the arches in our feet. And let's just grab our hands behind, stretching them, opening up the chest, just looking up, and let's come down to our head and just pull the arms back, keeping the feet flexed. Feel this nice stretch in your arms and in your shoulders. And let's slowly release the arms and the hands, and just bringing them forward, and we'll come into our first child's pose. Good, just keep those deep breaths going. Just really trying to center ourselves in this practice. Trying not to think of anything too stressful. Just trying to be in the present, focusing on this stretch, focusing on our breathing. And let's slowly slide into puppy pose, trying to get the chest onto the ground, hips in the air. And you can keep your head down, so forehead on the mat to make this easier, but if you're up for the challenge, then lift your head up, chin on the mat, and just looking up. Just warming up those shoulders. Beautiful, guys. Let's slowly slide into our baby cobra. Exhaling, looking up. Just supporting yourselves on your elbows. Feeling this wonderful stretch in your back and in your shoulders. And we're slowly going to rise up into our Cobra position, and we're going to bring it down back to the mat and back up. So just kind of like a wave, just going up and down. Feel the warmth coming to your arms and in your lower back. You can make this as fluid as you want, adding a little head movement if that feels right for you. And last one, and we're just gonna come up and hold here, and we're gonna add a little head movement, just going half circles down, so side to each shoulder with the head. Just warming up that neck, releasing tension. And the last one, rise up, and we'll just come back to our child's pose. This time opening up the hips, knees nice and wide. Just holding here. Nice deep breaths. And let's just bring our knees a little bit closer. We're going to lift up onto all fours. And we're going to start doing a nice little wave-like movement. So going back into child's pose, then curling in your back, and then arching, leading with the hips back into child's pose. So curling in the back and shoulders, and arching back. And we'll do this a couple of more times, just really warming up that lower back. And now let's stay in our all fours position, and we're gonna come for normal cat and cow. So let's just curl the back, and we'll arch it as much as we can, and curling, and arching. Good. Exhaling as you curl, and inhaling as you arch. Really move with your breath. And now let's just come to a nice flat, straight back, and we're going to lift one arm and one leg. So opposite arm, opposite leg, and other side. Keeping the hip turned in. Try not to arch your back too much, keeping that tailbone tucked in as well. Good. Keep going. And we're going to pause on one side. Hold it, and we're going to go up and down. Just up and down with the leg and the arm, keeping that tailbone tucked under, hip turned in. And we're just going to hold after this one, and hold it. And we're going to bring that leg to the side, flat foot. And we're going to bring that opposite arm up, and we're going to bring it through, and the other arm above your head, outstretched. And just enjoying this nice twist action in the shoulders. Good, just keep those deep breaths going. Good. We're going to release slowly out of this. So bringing the top arm to the mat and the other. And now the leg back. And we're going to come back to our cat and cow. So curling and arching. And exhaling as you curl. And arching as you inhale. And now let's come to a nice straight flat back, and we're going to lift one arm and one leg, opposite arm, opposite leg, and other side. Hip is turned in, tailbone is tucked under. Try not to arch too much in the back. We really want to feel this in our glute. And we're going to pause on one side, make sure you're on the other side, and we're going to lift up and down with the leg, keeping the hip turned in. Good, last one. And let's bring that leg to the side, flat foot. Bring that opposite arm up and through. The other arm extending over our head. And just feel this nice twist in your shoulders. And let's release the arm, bring both hands to the mat, and we're just going to go into our nice child's pose. So extend those arms, stretch the fingers, and just forehead down. You can also bring your arms to the sides, around your legs, if that feels comfortable for you. Last breath, and we're gonna come up and into our downward facing dog. So slowly extending, and we're just gonna walk this out first, nice and slow, just warming up those calf and hamstring muscles. And let's just bring both of the heels down on the mat. Don't worry if you cannot do that yet. Just try your best. Do what you can. And let's get ready. We're going to come to a tabletop position. So bending and hovering the knees. And back into down dog. We're really flexing our toes here. Keeping the tailbone tucked under, our abs engaged. Nice flat back. And just taking this as fast as we want. We aren't rushing anywhere. Good. Keep going. Warming up the body. Waking it up. And last one after this, and then we're gonna come into our down dog and just hold it out here. Just take a break, catch your breath here. We're gonna come into a nice plank, so just rolling into it and then arching the back, leading with the hips back into down dog and curling into plank and arching back and just creating this nice little wave-like motion in your back as you go to plank and down dog. Keep those hips under in the plank, shoulders over the wrist. And let's come back into that plank, and we're just gonna hold here for a moment. Stomach nice and strong, shoulders are over the wrists, hips down. And let's take it back to downward facing dog and just hold here. And we're gonna come down into our child's pose, a nice open hipped one. And this time we're just going to bring our hands together into prayer over our head, elbows on the mat. And just feel this nice little extra stretch in the shoulders. Good, keep those deep breaths going. Don't hold your breath at any moment. And let's just release the hands and the arms, and we'll come back into our downward facing dog, nice and slow, flexing the feet and stretching the legs. And we're going to lift one leg up, keeping it bent in this three-legged dog. Hips are square, and we're going to make nice little circles around, as wide as we can, just warming up this nice hip joint. Good, and let's just hold here, and we're going to bring it through into our knee to chest and up and through and up, really keeping those abs engaged. Try not to lift the hips when the knee is to the chest. Good, keep going. And we'll just hold it here, and we'll bring it into our pigeon pose. So just opening up that foot, opening up the hip, and we'll stay up at first. And now we'll slowly go down, forehead to the mat. And if you can't open up your hip and knee too much, and it's not at a right angle, don't worry. Just do your best. What's important is that you feel this stretch in your hip. And we're going to bring the hands next to our body, and we're just going to slowly come back up into our one-legged dog. And just bring it back into downward facing dog. And let's just lift the other leg, keeping it bent. Hips are square, and we're going to make nice circles around, really warming up that hip joint. And let's just bring it back to center. And then we're gonna come for our knee to chest. So bringing that knee really high up into the plank, keeping those hips down in the plank. And this is going to be our last one. Knee hugging to the chest, and we'll bring it down into our pigeon position, opening up that hip and knee, staying up for a moment, and then we'll slowly go down, trying to get our forehead to the mat. You're going to feel this in your outer hip and in the hip flexor on the other side. Just keep breathing in this stretch. Don't hold your breath. And now we're going to come up slowly, hands on the mat, and come back to our three-legged dog or one-legged dog. And now back to downward facing dog, and then we'll slowly come to our open child's pose. So opening up those knees, opening up the hips, and we'll bring our hands into prayer again, just stretching out those shoulders. But if you need a little bit more relaxing break, then please bring your hands out stretched in front of you or to the sides of your body, whatever feels comfortable for you. And we're going to slowly come back up into our downward facing dog. We're going to get ready to take the one-legged dog on the other side. And let's go, lifting the leg, hips are square. And we're going to bring it down, knee to elbow this time. So opposite knee to opposite elbow. And now we're going to bring it knee to chest. And we're going to bring the knee to the other elbow. So same leg, same arm this time. And we're going to bring that leg into a nice low lunge. And we're going to open up that foot, and you can push the knee away from you. You're going to feel this more in your hip. I have my foot flexed behind me, but you can have it pointed. This just gives me a little bit more stability. And let's just hold, making sure that foot is turned out. Good, keep breathing. We're going to lift that back knee. We're going to bring the hands onto the mat, tiptoe the foot back, and we're going to bring that leg back into plank. And then we're going to take it on the other side, so a nice high lunge or lizard pose. And we're just going to repeat that. So plank into lizard pose, plank into lizard pose. Keeping those hips under in the plank. Don't lift the butt up. Good. And let's keep going. And we're going to pause on one side. And back to plank and into our down dog. And just hold here. Good job, guys. You're really doing great. And we're going to lift the other leg, keeping it bent. And we're going to bring it through, touching the opposite elbow. And now to the center. And now to the other elbow, so the outside. And we're going to drop that foot and into low lunge, dropping the back knee, flexing the foot behind, opening up that foot, and we're just going to push on the knee, looking up. And if this feels too intense for you, you can stay with your hips square in a normal low lunge. You can also move around in the stretch. Just go with the flow, do what feels best for you. Alright guys, we're gonna lift that knee up and we're gonna come back to that nice exercise. We're gonna come to our plank and lizard pose. Plank, lizard pose. Just keeping those hips down in the plank. Shoulders are over the wrist. If this is too intense, you can drop the knee in the high lunge. Good, keep going. And we're going to end up in a yogic squat now. So you can just add a little towel under your bum or add a yoga block if you feel this is too hard to balance. And we're going to come into a prayer pose and just hold here, nice straight back. We're almost finished with this practice. Just hold. So we're going to come into our last exercise in a bit, and I'm just going to tell you what an easier version is. You can go into lizard pose, plank, back into lizard pose like we did before, or you can do this exercise, which we're going to jump from yogic squat into plank and then back into yogic squat. So you can do whatever feels right for you. Don't feel discouraged if you cannot do this. We all start somewhere. And we're all where we're supposed to be. So keep jumping, keeping those hips down in that plank. You guys are doing amazing. Get that heart pumping. We're almost finished. All right, last one, and we'll jump into our yogic squat. And we're just gonna hold here. You can go side to side, move around. I'm gonna bring my hands to prayer, nice straight back. We can sway side to side like I said, or go side to side with your neck. And other side. And other side. And just roll it down. Just relax that neck. Bring your hands to the mat. And we'll step back into our down dog. And now let's come down into our child's pose, bringing the hands into prayer. Just stretching out those shoulders, the lower back, and the hips. And now let's stretch the arms in front and we'll slide into puppy pose. And we're going to bring our hands into prayer here as well. Your arms and your shoulders should be warmed up for this now. But if it feels too intense, then just keep your hands on the mat. Good. Keep trying to push that chest to the ground. Breathing deeply. And let's slowly release, and we'll come up inch by inch, taking our time. And we are finished for today, guys. I hope you liked this morning yoga workout, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!